Delicious, delicious matcha. You know what else is delicious? Veteran Explorer. I'm not afraid to say it. Yeah, that matcha really is good, though. Hello, folks. Phil Gallagher, aka ThrabenU, here for another Legacy video. And Michael B has asked me to do something kinda crazy. We're gonna play Nic Fit today, but we're gonna play Twitch Fit instead. That is Eye Twitch Nic Fit. Eye Twitch is something that we tried in Nic Fit probably a few years back now. When it dies, you learn, meaning that you can get a lesson from your sideboard, or alternatively, discard a card to draw a card. And the recent Avatar set gave us some new options for lessons, which greatly increased the viability of this card. Although, admittedly, it's still a little bit sketchy. But now you have kind of a crazy range of things that you can do by learning. But it's Secrets of Strixhaven that could actually make this, not just a crazy thing to do. With Decorum Dissertation, target player draws 2 cards and loses 2 life. Now that's not great at 5 mana. However, it has Paradigm. So then you exile this spell, and you can cast a new copy of it from exile at the beginning of each of your first main phases. So this is setting up for the future. You can turn 1 Eye Twitch, turn 2 sacrifice it via Witherbloom Charm, more on this card in a second, draw 2 cards, and then set up for the future where you get 2 additional cards every turn. Or alternatively, when we are reaching the very end of the game, this could turn into a burn spell with Orcish Bowmasters. And this is an incredibly interesting idea. If we pair this with a little bit of lifelink, so we don't necessarily care all that much about losing the life, we could actually be cooking here. Going back to Witherbloom Charm now, this is the literal perfect card for Nic Fit. Nic Fit wants to go and sacrifice Veteran Explorer and get a bunch of lands, and then it wants to throw a bunch of overcosted haymakers. And Witherbloom Charm lets you sacrifice your Veteran Explorer while also getting the gas. And I have tried to construct this deck in a way where it's going to be annoyingly resilient. So we are going to have Barogoyf to draw a card. We are going to have Overlord of the Baelmerk to draw a card. We are going to have Chaos Defiler as a generic piece of removal that we can potentially also sacrifice to Witherbloom Charm in a pinch. Now, there are 2 different things going on today that we're doing at the same time. Number 1, we are testing Witherbloom Charm. Number 2, we are testing Eye Twitch. I suspect that playing the deck without Eye Twitch is better. I think you can just be straight green-black here and go up to 4 copies of Malevolent Rumble and get the Green Sun Zeniths back into the deck and still be highly consistent while, maybe playing a couple more copies of Endurance or Alpha Deathclaw to round out the top end where I've got Chaos Defiler. But I am intrigued by this. One other note here, I'm going very hard on Orcish Bowmasters because it kills both of the 1-drop things that I want to kill, which is kind of unique. Note that by losing access to Green Sun, and I just simply could not make the slots work while trying to get Eye Twitch in and Bowmaster in to kill it, by losing Green Sun, we lose out some versus combo by not just having Green Sun for Collector Oof be a very easy silver bullet in a lot of matchups. But we'll see how this plays out today, and if you didn't see the other recent Nic Fit video, we are also trying out Lazotep Quarry, which lets us sacrifice a creature on a land, filling the same sort of role that Phyrexian Tower filled in the past, while also potentially being an endgame mana sink. With that, let's go ahead and hop into some Magic here. I think this is going to be a lot of fun, and if you decide that you want to try this out for one of your local events, please consider getting your cards from toamagic.com and use promo code ThrabenU to save a little bit on your order. I'm recording this one before MagicCon Vegas, and I'm very much looking forward to seeing these folks in person there. With that being said, Let's battle. Note that another side benefit of going and removing one color from this deck and not playing red is that you can probably squeeze a Surveil land into the mana base, which I don't believe that I did. Yes, I did not do that. We've got Flooded Strand. Here's to hoping we have some thick Barrogoyfs in a minute. Malevolent Rumble. There is Eye Twitch for Witherbloom Charm. I just have 3 fucking Barrogoyfs in my hand, though. Shit, it is Eye Twitch Cabal Therapy, though. It is Eye Twitch Cabal Therapy, though. Alright. Alright. I believe that I am legally required to do the Eye Twitch in this instance. Opponent has blue stuff. Second Eye Twitch. Yeah? Cabal Therapy. Target you. Sacrifice Eye Twitch. I will learn. What do I want? The big one? Big one's kind of sweet. I might just want the Duress. So, Brainstorm or Force of Will seem like reasonable generic things to name here, having seen nothing from my opponent. Go Force of Will. Hit. I can't play Eye Twitch and then successfully sacrifice it immediately. I think I am into this Duress effect, and we can just kind of take our sweet time here. I'll take out Snapcaster here. I shouldn't call this a Duress effect, because it's non-land permanent. Second fetch. There's the mountain, there's the Teferi. We'll see if my opponent wants to just junk my spawn. They do not. Alright. Any of this stuff hit planeswalkers? Reckless Blaze? No, that's creatures. Okay, no, none of it does. I'm gonna play Eye Twitch. I'm fine doing Witherbloom command and sacrificing the Eye Twitch. I will then go ahead and learn. I will pick up the Decorum Dissertation for the future. Eventually, I'm going to get to the point where I can like do very cool sacrifice in response to removal stuff. I'm not there yet, though. I'm fine flooping down a Bowmasters and pinging Teferi. We're going to be in for a long game, because my opponent gets to swords, and then they get to, like, flow state. Ooh, they are not doing... Oh, no, no sorcery yet. That was second instant. My bad. Bam. Combat. Love tap Teferi. Teferi down. I think I've seen this already. How do you feel about this? Ah, the Instant Speed Ponder, a legacy classic. All right, there is a response. Spell Pierce will do. All right. I theoretically want to be able to play 2 Barrogoyfs at the same time. Now there's a Ponder in graveyard for this. The opponent gets their 2 cards. I wonder if you can play Veteran Explorer and Eumidian Hatchery in Nic Fit and just take advantage of Witherbloom Charm in that capacity. There's a lot to explore here. Pernicious Deed does not answer Planeswalkers, but is kind of a neat card. Send in at Teferi. I don't think I want to get rid of my Orc Army token via Witherbloom Charm yet. I think I'm okay with Witherbloom Charm sitting here. It's so much better if my opponent doesn't have Teferi, because I get to just, like, sacrifice my thing in response there and draw 2 cards. Teferi pluses again. Opponent is chilling. Okay, now I can just play 2 Barrogoyfs this turn. In at Teferi. Poke 1 loyalty off of it. Barrogoyf number 1. That's good enough for a Force of Will. What about the second Barrogoyf in the shadow of the first? Nice, we're in play. Now, opponent's deck has stuff like Snapcaster Mage and has onboard Teferi Bounce, so, you know. Lorien Revealed gets cycled. Opponent didn't get to use it as a draw 3. I guess I'll take that. Barrogoyf gets bounced. Hopefully that means that I get to poke and kill this Teferi, at which point Witherbloom Charm is a much stronger card. We have not seen what my opponent's win condition, ooh, nice, is yet. In at Teferi. Teferi is dead. You don't blow up lands, do you? You do not blow up lands. I think I'm into just playing Barrogoyf and holding up Witherbloom Charm, or if it gets removed, the conservative Nic Fit play pattern. Really like the feel of this. It's very fun. Alright, just a fetch, no follow-up. Ponder is fine. I think that was just fully a random fetch there. I don't think there were any known cards because of Lorien Revealed cycle. Prismatic Ending. No. I will Witherbloom Charm. Spell Pierce, sure. Alright. Oh, Lazotep Quarry. So 2, tap this, have 4 mana, get Barrogoyf. Seems good. Get in there. Barrogoyf. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Sacrifice my desert. Very specifically 4/4 Barrogoyf here. There is a Tameo. That can just eat it to Chaos Defiler. So yeah. Fuck you, Flow State. Witherbloom Charm, baby. Opponent gives us the GG. So my opponent has Spell Pierce, making some of the Witherbloom Charm lines a little weirder. Still think I go for them in many cases. And a common theme of this league is going to be we don't sideboard because our sideboard is full of jank. Positive connotation. Like, because we're trying to fart around with this Eye Twitch stuff, we have access to a very strange and unusual tutor board. But this comes at the cost of not being able to do small deck substitutions. So we've got some stuff versus combo, and that's it. I don't think I am interested in Lazotep Quarry as my one land here. I'll mulligan that. This is fine. I'm going to keep this and probably put the second forest into deck. There's very much a question of whether or not I even play Veteran Explorer on turn 1, or if I just save it on turn 2 for Lazotep Quarry. And if my opponent doesn't Force of Will, I always ramp. It may just be with Witherbloom Charm here that I want to attempt to do this. Ooh, which one? I think I play Veteran Explorer. Sometimes my opponent just uses a Prismatic Ending on this immediately. Ooh. I think I just destroy Tameo. We can do the cool stuff later. I don't necessarily want to sacrifice Veteran Explorer immediately and give my opponent Spell Pierce mana right now. All right. Goodbye, Tameo. Veteran Explorer beats 18. Oh, I'm really glad I killed that Tameo. We got a bit of a freebie there for my opponent's land being a plateau specifically. Prismatic Vista. Ooh, Overlord is nice. And maybe go and cast that on 5 mana. I'm not very far away from that. Yeah? Opponent to 17. If I sack Veteran Explorer right now, I get 1 mana from sacking it and 2 more lands into play. And I just cast Overlord? Okay. 1 black and 1 green. My opponent gets them as well. They are not at hardcast Force of Will, so if they do force, it costs them 2 cards, so I'm okay casting the Overlord here, I think. All right, very nice. It does hit play. I get a Barrogoyf back. Deck is fucking hot. Ooh, didn't even just immediately eat it to Swords to Plowshares either? All right. All right. So what does my opponent have? Okay, they do have a Swords. They didn't do it immediately, so maybe they found that this turn. There is Tameo, which I think I'm going to try to kill with a Pernicious Deed. Maybe slightly differently here. 1, 2, and 3. Attempt to blow up Tameo and hope Brainstorm doesn't happen. Nice, nice. Then play Eye Twitch. Sack it to Cabal Therapy, targeting my opponent. Pick up Decorum Dissertation. So I suspect it is not Brainstorm. Ooh, Spell Pierce. They've got something to hide over there. All right. Resolves. That might mean Lorien Revealed. Like a Lorien Revealed or a 4th Aerlingas would be the sort of thing that my opponent could be protecting. Snapcaster Mage. Another Tameo. Sure. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. I really want to just put something onto the board here. It does require black, so I can't leave that open. Okay. Well, let's Overlord. Ooh. If I play Veteran Explorer, I can immediately Barrogoyf, which is pretty cool. I think I just take Chaos Defiler, though. I'll call that good there. Low State. All right, you get your 2 cards. But it is my hope that I get 2 cards every turn. All right. Tameo gets in there. Do I get an Overlord attack? I think becomes the next question. Tamiyo, Crack, Clue, Transform, Tamiyo, Swords, Overlord is a pretty darn good sequence. Okay, cool. I do get my attack. I wasn't super expecting that to happen. I mean, I'm glad that it did. Endurance is a cool pickup. We'll take Endurance and muck with Flow State. There's now a Cabal Therapy in the yard as well. All right, down to 11. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 for Chaos Defiler. That gets a Force of Will. I accept that. One cracks a Clue with Tamiyo. I might just take this as a moment to nuke my opponent's yard before we get into something like Play Land, Snapcaster Mage, Snapcaster Force of Will. I think I'm going to do that. Like, my opponent already knows that I have this. Let's just clear out that graveyard. And trying to resolve this makes my opponent getting a flipped Tamiyo slightly less scary as well. Another land drop comes down, and opponent needs it. Wrath of the Skies for X equals 5. Understood. You've got 2 cards, and I have Disrupt Decorum in hand. Seems good for me. I'll tap. So, 1, 2. Shouldn't need red. Probably don't need that. Could need it. Let's do this. All right. We're in business. I wish I had a touch more black mana here. I think this is play Eye Twitch. Sack Eye Twitch for black and learn. Maybe pick up Redirect Lightning. I'll pick up Firebending Lesson. I think I will just then play Barrogoyf. This way I have an expensive answer to a Tamiyo. Go on. Prismatic Ending with a bunch of colors. Sure. Gonna be 5 mana. Oh, and Tamiyo? What if Pernicious Deed, though? Alright, do this. I'll target myself here. Ooh, Bowmasters. Nice. One has 0 cards in hand. Very cool. So, land drop. Firebending Lesson, I think on the Mentor. Get you out of there. Overlord, 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Do this. Pick up like a Chaos Defiler. 1 and 2 Orcish Bowmasters. Target that monk and call that good. I don't need to do anything with Cabal Therapy here. Alright, Tamiyo investigates. You certainly get to do that thing. Cracking a Clue. Bowmasters, ping your face. Oh, we have gotten the GG. What a wonderful game of Magic. Very, very happy with that one. I used so much more clock than my opponent. I had a lot of very weird things to think about. We'll need to be a little more cognizant of that in the future. But this was a great proof of concept round for this deck. I'm so impressed already. GG. Today's video is sponsored by Moxfield.com. If you're looking to store your decks online, you're not going to find a better website. It's super organized and easy to use, and I sort everything that I do into a ton of format-specific folders, and you can customize the way that you use Moxfield to your liking. Whether you like text views or visual views of multiple different natures, Moxfield has it all. And it's so easy to use, you might even say that it's a snap. Oh yeah. Warms my cold dead heart. Multiple eye twitches, multiple Cabal Therapies. Let's go. Opponent confirmed second main phase hipster. What do you think? Show and tell? I think I'm right. Just throwing it out there. I think I'm right. Ooh. Ball Therapy. Target you. Show and tell, baby. I tell, you show. Nice. Opponent is left with a reasonable hand. There's an Ancient Tomb there that is not displaying a name, just FYI. Alright, stock up occurs. Lotus Petal is really annoying because of Veil of Summer, actually. I just kind of live with that awkwardness. Ball Therapy, target you. Sacrifice Veteran Explorer. Would like this trigger to resolve before Veil of Summer happens. I don't get my wish. Yes. I want to find a Chaos Defiler and have that in my hand for a show and tell. I can use Malevolent Rumble to help with that. I think I go 1, 2. Alright, opponent has 2 basic lands in their deck. So Cabal Therapy doesn't get a target here. And now we'll go ahead and Malevolent Rumble. Hell yeah, there's the Chaos Defiler that I wanted. And then I can Bowmaster on my opponent's turn once the Veil of Summer is gone. And I think I will just go ahead and do that immediately. Getcha. Opponent to 17. There's the island that I know about. There's Show and Tell. Here's Chaos Defiler. Veil of Summer. Doesn't work. I will ping my own Orc Army token here. So, the cool thing about this is this says choose. This doesn't target. So I can still take out the Sephiroth Atraxa. My opponent still gets to refuel, and like there's definitely something to that. But they're going to get to refuel, and I'm going to get to do Cabal Therapy Eyetwitch stuff. And I will get to know exactly what to name with Cabal Therapy. We do see that our opponent is the hybrid Alurin version that has a combo with a Sararak, so that's a thing here. The Sararak, Ponder, Lotus Petal means not you. You get Boseiju, Alurin, none of this, not this, not this. Okay. Speed is interesting. I will go ahead and immediately send in for 8 points of damage, bringing my opponent to 7. Ball Therapy, target you. I imagine my opponent Force of Wills here. I don't know, I guess it's weird, right? Because I have guaranteed creatures on board already. Okay, yeah, so my opponent's going to let that resolve. So I probably take I probably take a Sararak here because I don't want to worry about like Brainstorm hide a card if I Cabal Therapy again. So we'll name a Sararak. This also can combo with Omniscience as well. Ooh, 2 Allurins in there. So this is now gone. I will then play Eye Twitch and Cabal Therapy, target you, sacrificing Eye Twitch. Needed a little bit too much black mana this turn. This is okay. This can be a land destruction spell for Ancient Tomb that I can do right now. I might just keep this for if my opponent puts Omniscience into play, though. Yeah. Alright, so that's Force of Will, pitching Atraxa. Got it. Alright. Pass turn, and this one is an instant. My opponent can cast a Ponder and take a little extra from a Bowmaster's. I don't know how many copies of a Sararak are in their deck. My guess is 1. I could be wrong. Alright, there's Ponder. Very fast shuffle. I'll ping my opponent here. Not a damn. Beat Alurin, Show and Tell hybrid combo. GG. Mindbreak Trap? Mindbreak Trap is kind of reasonable versus the Alurin side of the deck. I think I'm into that. And sometimes it's live versus the Show and Tell side. Deed feels pretty bad here. Technically, that's an answer to an Omniscience, you know? But realistically, even by Nic Fit standards, that's a bit rough. I wonder if my opponent is playing Flow State. Some of the initial 5-0 deck lists that I was seeing with Show and Tell post Flow State still didn't have that card in the deck. They were still on stock up, which we did see here, but like you could play both. Opening hand is okay. Scalding Tarn and pass turn. I am fine just firing off a Cabal Therapy immediately and seeing how my opponent feels about that. I think this time I'm going to name Brainstorm. Daggers. Would have gotten it. Opponent can now fetch and surveil. Puts a card on top. Hate that. There is Lotus Petal, Ancient Tomb, and the immediate Show and Tell. I will put an Overlord in. My opponent gets a Sephiroth. Oh my god. Oh, top of the deck was bad. I think I just outright lost this one for not naming Show and Tell on the first Cabal Therapy name. I was anticipating casting it a second time by sacrificing next turn to Orcish Bowmasters, and I wanted a chance to hit both times. I think I am outright dead to that. I will continue playing the game here, even though I think my opponent's got this one. I'll get a Taiga here. I'm going to just cast a Bowmaster right now to see if my opponent will Veil of Summer in response to this trigger. The answer is no. What if I Cabal Therapy you? Okay, now it's good enough. So my opponent draws a card. I can't target their stuff anymore. I will just ping my Overlord that's not attacking this turn, since I don't have the Orc itself. And then I'll pass the turn. So this is a Vigilant creature, and I hate that. My opponent has a bunch of life to play with, and they can, be relatively safe knowing that they have Force of Will. Die in 2 turns to this. A little bit more if I draw a green source for Endurance. Land drop hits. Opponent is full on discarding cards. Not gonna take that as a great sign for me. I will attempt to resolve a creature with Death Touch. And honestly, lifelink. Ooh, it resolved. Alright, I'll eat this. I'm now not dead in 2 hits anymore, assuming that this gets to attack and get in there. Oh, hold on. Stop yielding. So I can't kill this. I can play 2 creatures for free, but that doesn't change anything. Alright, my opponent gets the combo kill there. GG. Let's try it one more time. I suspect my opponent maybe ends up winning that one, even if I name Show and Tell with the first Cabal Therapy. They immediately would cast a Stock Up instead on their turn and dig relatively deep while getting 2 cards. Like, we would be playing Magic instead, but I don't know if I'm favored, even if I hit correctly there. This hand does not do anything. This hand's a little slow. I think I'm keeping it. But this is not perfect, and this is where having the 3rd color is relevant, because then I don't have that nice Surveil land. That could really help smooth out this initial turn cycle or so. Ponder is happening. Sure. Excuse me, I muted myself to cough. I am not sure how much we missed. So just in case, we've got Ponder on my opponent's turn. I'm now casting Overlord of the Baelmerk, looking for Chaos Defiler. None of those cards are Chaos Defiler. I will take a Bowmaster. And again, apologies if I cut out some amount of this match. Hopefully it was not much. Balding Tarn. Regular old cantrip is fine. There's a shuffle and pass. I hope we don't reach the point where this is relevant by ticking down. We might. I'm going to go ahead and Malevolent Rumble. I am absolutely still digging for Chaos Defiler. I don't find it. I find Cabal Therapy, though. We'll pick up a Barrogoyf. I will play Orcish Bowmasters. Opponent potentially has Veil of Summer. Yeah. Alright, occurs. Ball Therapy, target you. Sacrifice the Orc Army token. Force of Will, pitching Show and Tell. You've got it. That might mean there's 2 Show and Tells, or that might mean that my opponent is going to win off something like Ancient Tomb Alurin. If they go for a Sararak stuff, I can try to Mindbreak Trap it. 3rd land drop. This is spell number 1 of the turn. I think I'm going to put my Death Toucher into play in case it's Atraxa. It is Alurin. This is spell number 2 of the turn. So a Sararak is going to bounce itself and enter a dungeon. Going to be the Lost Mine. This is the 3rd spell of the turn, which I will counter for free with Mindbreak Trap. You may enter your dungeon and scry 1. Alright. I'm now in pretty good shape. I have a land in my graveyard already. I think I will call this good, do my attack, and see what happens on the attack trigger. Yeah. 5 damage. Say yes. Pick up a new Barrogoyf is fine. 2nd main phase. New Barrogoyf. Think new Barrogoyf over. Oh, right. I missed a little damage. Yeah, I missed a little damage. Okay. Let's do this. Ping my opponent's face. Do 2 mana. Cast Witherbloom Charm. 1 and 2. I think this is fully just not relevant anymore. Let's put this into the graveyard. Okay, nice. And now I have 3 things that I can cast with Flash off of my opponent's Alurin. Seems good. Oh, I was probably supposed to play Bowmasters before my opponent could Veil of Summer. Hopefully that's not relevant. Let's dump some stuff into play in response to that. Yeah. King face. Not worried about Veteran Explorer being countered. When it says GG's, congrats on full time. Thank you very much. That was another really cool match. This league absolutely rules. This deck's very fun. GG. Alright, I've got a mediocre opening hand here that has a lot of potential. We might be playing against the same thing as we just played against. Wall Therapy, target you. Opponent brainstorms. So the best card in my opponent's hand, in theory, should now be hidden on top of their deck. So if this is something like Show and Tell, I'm probably not going to hit by naming Show and Tell. I could potentially hit by naming something like Atraxa, or I could just go for some middling card that might be in their hand, like Stock Up. Hey, like Stock Up. Notably, Atraxa would have hit as well there. Although if my opponent also has a Show and Tell in this hand, like, it's rough. Yep. All right, there is the Show and Tell. Here is the Chaos Defiler, though. Goodbye, Atraxa. Get out of there. My opponent still gets a new grip of cards, including a new Show and Tell, though. So we're going to have to find something else to do here. And my opponent can have Force of Will to protect it from Cabal Therapy? I guess I'll use Cabal Therapy to sacrifice Chaos Defiler and make their duder die. Ancient Tomb was the land that they took, so those are out. Sorcery was Show and Tell, so Ponder was out. Which creature? Atraxa over Emrakul. Alright, so there's what I know. Veteran Explorer. Alright. I can use the Cabal Therapy in my graveyard because I have Lazotep Quarry in hand to sacrifice Chaos Defiler. So here's Veteran Explorer. Now we can play this game. I can get some more land. I've got red covered, so I will just get some other colors. Ooh, opponent has sneak attack, presumably. Ooh, they're just letting this resolve. I mean, I will name the Show and Tell, right? I think so. Okay, yep. So that's out of there. I can now either play a 4/5 or do Malevolent Rumble. I think I'm fine putting the 4/5 Death Toucher into play. Alright, opponent does not respond. Excellent. You may brainstorm. That's the concession point. I don't know if my opponent threaded that game properly in the final turn cycle. I suspect on Cabal Therapy, you Force of Will, pitch Brainstorm, just Show and Tell in Atraxa, and attempt to refuel yet again to try again, and they didn't take that line. I'm not quite sure why. So Mindbreak Trap will be slightly worse against my opponent if they are not going the Acererak route, which I'm guessing they're not, since we saw Basic Mountain. That makes me think Sneak Attack. So I think I am not going to play Mindbreak Trap. Pernicious Deed technically does stuff versus Sneak Attack, technically, but you know, it's questionable. While I love having Chaos Defiler in my hand, this is not going to be a keep, whereas this is totally fine. I think I will get rid of the pip-intensive Endurance here, despite the fact that it is a blocker for flyers. Alright, ETB tapped land. Hey bud, thanks for showing up to work today. I really appreciate you clocking in. You know, your consistency, it is just rock solid. I think you're up for promotion. Show and Tell, baby. Ooh, yeah. Misplay on my opponent's side. If they play out Lotus Petal on their turn, they can brainstorm and then hide that Show and Tell. One of the things I like about Legacy is that there's so many little spots like that where you can get an edge if you know what you are anticipating. And like, sometimes it is fully correct to play certain cards out, and sometimes you want to hold them back. Like my opponent's deck is a Brainstorm deck. If they don't need to use the Lotus Petal for any reason, they can potentially Brainstorm away the Lotus Petal later, but like they very clearly had a potential use for their spell. So now I get to play a little sub game with this Cabal Therapy and this Brainstorm. Okay. So that didn't go the way that I was expecting, and I am happy. But Ball Therapy, sacrifice Orc Army token. Now if my opponent wants to use their Brainstorm, it is much worse for them to do so. I'll just go ahead and name the Omniscience here. Omniscience. Got him. There is a sneak attack looming, though, which I dislike. My opponent can put that into play, and maybe I can somehow get a Chaos Defiler into play and have that be relevant. Lazotep Quarry in with Bowmasters. 17. I think I'm just tapping out 4 Barrogoyf. Opponent just naturally drew their creature off the top. Lol. That is how it goes sometimes, right? We're at 5. Yeah, you can do your Brainstorm now. Sneak attack, sacrifice, Emrakul goes away. My opponent is so favored here, it's not even funny. Alright, opponent passes. I can't cast my card here. Lazotep Quarry doesn't give me colored mana as of right now. Opponent can get Thundering Falls to Surveil. Didn't happen. In which case, did they have a reason to fetch? That is a shuffle. Alright, cool. So, none of these cards are currently live. Cost of playing Lazotep Quarry is real. I think I binned in Endurance earlier that would be castable. I think that was another fetch that didn't have a reason to happen. Opponent did draw another land. Alright. Here's a Barrogoyf. No Force of Will. Okay. I mean, I'm 1 land drop away from greatness here. Did not hit my land drop to answer sneak attack, though. I will send in for 3. Opponent to 12. I go up to 8. We'll pick up a Veteran Explorer. Does that get me there? Play Veteran Explorer. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yes, that does get me there. Bam. Sack Veteran Explorer. Say yes. Black and red. Opponent does get to thin some lands out of their deck. Did a Force of Will check with Barrogoyf and passed that check then. So that probably means that I pass it this turn. Alright, my opponent is Bosejuing the Chaos Defiler. So yes, I will use this ability. I have plenty of all of my various colors. I will take out Sneak Attack. No valid choices here. I don't get to click on lands or anything. Goyf is a 6/7. Small children in chat losing their minds at the mention of 6/7. Yeah, I think my opponent is fully just trying to mathematically thin lands from their deck rather than saving for their fetch lands for maximizing Ponders and Brainstorms, which is probably not what you want to be doing in Legacy. Ancient Tomb, tapping for mana. Alright, stock up occurs. I don't suspect that you need to do 2 damage to yourself there. You can still do Sneak Attack plus Activate pretty easily. There is Sneak Attack, 1 card remaining. Activate. I'm not dead to Atraxa. I will be dead to Atraxa hitting Emrakul. Not dead. Notably, the 3 life that I gained from Barrogoyf gave me another turn here. Alright, City, Omniscience, Brainstorm, Show and Tell. I will take 7. Going to 1. Opponent goes up to 16. Do I get to deed away Sneak Attack? 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4. I do if I believe that is my best course of action. I will attack first. Yeah. Finding another Chaos Defiler would be pretty sweet. Alright, deal 6, go up to 7. Deal 6 cards. Pick up the Chaos Defiler. So I can play deed, crack deed for 4, kill Sneak Attack and Lotus Petal, and then if my opponent show and tells, I have Chaos Defiler. That seems fine, despite the fact that it takes my Goyf off the battlefield. That seems fine. So yeah, deed for 4. Goodbye Sneak Attack. By Goyf as well. Last turn. My opponent hardcast Omniscience. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Yeah, I think my opponent can just hardcast Omniscience. I'll have to Chaos Defiler that away, I suppose, which is hopefully fine. Ponder. That's a shuffle. All right, excellent. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. Second 6/7 appearance. I could play Overlord immediately, to try and bait a counterspell. I don't think that's correct since my opponent just knows that I have this Chaos Defiler. So I will attempt to cast this. See if Force of Will is a thing. Veil of Summer. You may draw a card. The hexproof doesn't do what you want it to do here. Yep. Okay. I will take out an Omniscience. Woo! The opponent still has Show and Tell. I have Witherbloom Charm to sacrifice a Chaos Defiler and remove the thing that Show and Tell puts in. I think I just do this with Impending, though, and put another Chaos Defiler into my hand. Like so. Just fighting for my life here. Alright, that is a land. That's going to cause City of Traders to sacrifice. Cool. Oh, Bowmasters is big. Alright, combat. In for 5 immediately. Opponent to 3. This is 4 mana to get a Bowmasters back. At which point I can still hold up Bowmasters and or Witherbloom Charm. Target Bowmasters. So I don't need the red right now. Sacrifice Lazotep Quarry to its own ability. Bowmasters ping you. Opponent at 2. I can flash in another Bowmasters or do Witherbloom Charm. Have I threaded the needle on this game? That is a land. That is a fetch. Here is a lethal Orcish Bowmasters trigger. Woo! Folks, we are undefeated with Nic Fit as of right now. GG. There was a lot to learn there if you were a newer Legacy player in terms of optimization. Your little decisions add up a lot. All right. Opening hand is relatively solid here. I have Witherbloom Charm, Veteran Explorer, which is nice. I think I'm still just going to get a basic so I'm not wastelanded in the first turn cycle because that matters a lot. And then I'll pass turn here. I do kind of need Witherbloom Charm to sacrifice Veteran Explorer. I need to bridge myself to this, and I can't even cast Endurance right now. At least not the way that I want to. Ooh, nice. Extra land drop is totally solid. Get in there with Veteran Explorer. Put opponent to 19. I am fine doing Witherbloom Charm here. Cool, we don't eat a Spell Pierce or anything like that. Oh, I've got so much gas now. Nice. I'll pick up the red for Chaos Defiler. And I think just a green so I can cast Malevolent Rumble this turn. See how many lands my opponent gets. Ooh, a lot of land. Third round of Show and Tell. Does someone need to get smacked down by Chaos Defiler? Or you Show and Tell players learn that you can't beat the Nic Fit matchup? It's impossible. I'll grab a Bowmasters versus a known blue deck. Tropical Island. Rainstorm. Yeah, I think I was right on my call. Show and Tell. Show and Tell, coward. Nice. Chaos Defiler with the steel chair. We will take Atraxa over Lotus Petal. Thank you very much. Now, Atraxa triggers. Alright, looks like opponent can have a Sararak and Omniscience and Show and Tell all at the same time. Which, feels pretty good. Okay, so the land they picked was City of Traders. So these are gone. Ooh, creature is Atraxa, not a Sararak. So these are gone. No Ponder. Okay. Opponent discards a Boseiju. I'll send in for 5 with Chaos Defiler. Now, I have 6 mana, which means I can Eye Twitch when my opponent casts Show and Tell, cast Bowmasters, ping Eye Twitch, get the Disenchant, put in Overlord of the Baelmerk, which creates a trigger, so that while my opponent has Omniscience, they can't cast the sorcery speed Atraxa. I'm just going to confirm that that lesson is a 2-mana instant, and it is. Okay, wild. This is my line. Last turn. City of Traders comes down. All right, they have stock up first. I think I can't tip my hand yet. Also, does anyone realistically see kill my Eye Twitch, get Disenchant coming? Oh, hold on. 4 mana, Alurin. Uh-oh. This still works? This still works. Am I still using mana for Bowmasters? I think I'm still using mana for Bowmasters. 1 and 2. King Eye Twitch. Learn. Get the origin of metal bending for Alurin. Alurin resolves. There is Formidable Speaker. I will, in response, cast Barrogoyf. Cast this for free via Alurin. Nuke Graveyard. And hope that one of my opponent's 3 remaining cards in hand is not a Sararak. Bam. That is a Force of Will. Most unfortunate. So this means that Formidable Speaker gets to go and pick up a Sararak so that my opponent can have the kill here. And this is miserable to click through on Magic Online. I'm just going to look at the dungeon real quick and confirm that this doesn't kill my opponent via Bowmasters. Yeah, it is life neutral for them with Dark Pool and Bowmasters. So I am dead here. They've got it. GG. Okay, I will play Mindbreak Trap here, and I think what I did before was board out my Pernicious Deeds. This deck's got a lot of play to it. Much more so than I was expecting when I put it together. Very, very happy with this so far. Okay, I have really good cards in this hand, but I don't have enough mana. I don't know that I want to keep this accordingly. Cards are quite good. I'm going to mulligan. Whereas this is a hand that does not have the right tools, but has enough mana. I'm going to keep it. I'm going to assume that I don't have the mana to spare here. And I do miss having a Surveil land a little bit here. That's how it goes. Kind of counting on my opponent to cast instants and sorceries to grow my Barrogoyf. Otherwise, this hand is a bit embarrassing. Okay, I'll take that. Not exactly what I'm looking for, but I'll take it. All right. We dodged Ancient Tomb. Opponent is now going to do what? Lotus Petal? And a thing? No, just opting to ponder after fetching. That feels weird. I'm not exactly sure why my opponent did that. Maybe there's some Veil of Summer corner case that I'm not thinking about. Fetch. I'm just going to marginal deck thin here because I am not a cantrip deck. Drew extra land anyway. Punchies in for 1. 18. I think I'm into this. Guess I'll play it around days. Leave some slightly better colors available. Leave Bayou up. Yes. Got my red mana covered already. I will just take 2 other basics. I am very good versus Show and Tell. I think I just leave open Assassin's Trophy for the rest of the game to potentially disrupt a Lurin combo. Double Chaos Defiler, though. Alright, there is Show and Tell. I will put in Chaos Defiler. Here we go. Target your Omniscience. And sign the trigger. Assassin's Trophy, your Omniscience. Got a counterspell for that? Fuck! They did. Uh-oh. Okay, it's just Ponder. That's only 4 looks at something deadly. Or 4 looks at another cantrip for something. Oh, it is a shuffle. It is a shuffle. There is hope. 3 more looks. Oh, that's gonna do it. So, Formidable Speaker getting a Sararak is a kill, or Formidable Speaker getting an Emrakul is pretty devastating as well. Like, even just the Atraxa and look at 10 cards is disgusting. That's going to be an Emrakul. I'm comfortable conceding there, despite the fact that Chaos Defiler being sacrificed can kill one of those 2 creatures. My opponent has got it. My opponent needed a lot to combo off there. They needed both the Consign and the Force of Will. Like, they had it all there, but if they didn't, I untap to a massively advantageous board state. GG. All right, opening hand has a single swamp. I don't think that is going to do it here. Second hand is fine. I'll probably bin one of the 2 copies of Eye Twitch here and call that good. I can start this game on some basic lands and not be vulnerable to Wasteland in the short term. I don't need the red mana immediately. Bloodstained Mire. Veteran Explorer isn't exactly what I'm looking for right now. I don't have a way to sacrifice that, and even if I did, I might be sacrificing Eye Twitch anyway. I'm gonna stay on the basics. I don't know exactly what Bloodstained Mire is going to represent yet, but I do know that I'm pretty much always casting Malevolent Rumble for Barrogoyf purposes. Overlord versus Deed. I think I'm going to take Overlord. If my opponent is playing something like Storm Combo, the Deed could technically blow up some artifacts. If they're playing fair stuff, I would rather just have two different things here. It is Undercity Sewers, still could be going either way potentially. Alright, we know which way it is. I've got 7 nice sideboard slots for this matchup, and I am probably going to need them because I expect that I'm going to die this turn. So my opponent has Echo, and I can't do anything about that as of right now. If I had an Endurance in hand, this would be one of those rare times where Endurance does get in and get to do the thing. New Mox Opal. Opponent fetches. Ooh, it is just Song of Creation. So we're in non-deterministic mode, but it's non-deterministic mode where my opponent has a 7-card grip and Song of Creation. So I fully expect that I am dead. I'm going to give you relevant updates here as my opponent is going to just absolutely churn through their deck. It's a few spells later. My opponent has now brainstormed and fetched. They have 3 Lion's Eye Diamonds in play, 12 cards in hand. Feels pretty disastrous. I'm at the point where a Beseech just easily beats me. Yeah, so here is going to be the Beseech for Tendrils. Storm counts 17. That will do just nicely. GG. They get game 1. And then I get to board in these 7 cards. I like Price of Freedom just legitimately in the main deck here as a land destruction spell. Origin of Metal Bending. I guess I could think about playing the Destroy an LED that's played out or whatever. Assassin's Trophy and Price of Freedom are just destroy target land cards. Deed's pretty slow. It is 3 mana, maybe take out a couple pieces of artifact mana. Not to say that it does nothing. I think I'm going to get rid of it. I could just board Eye Twitches out. Board in the relevant ones and just not have access to this as endgame, which seems fine. Go down a couple more pieces of top end. Feels like this one's going to be tough. I don't have Thoughtseizes and Therapies, I just have 3 Therapies. I mean, alright. Land drop, Therapy, target you. Maybe name Lion's Eye Diamond here. Just name the thing that goes turbo and goes under Mindbreak Trap. Like 1. Yeah, I think I'm going to do that. It is not. That's okay. The brainstorm there is maybe more annoying than anything else. Apt Elegant Parlor. No to a land. Here is spell number 1 of the turn. Imprint Burning Wish. Here is spell number 2 of the turn. Mox Opal, spell number 3 of the turn. Alright, opponent just passing. Cool. These are the sorts of boards where Deed can do something pretty cool on. I will cast Malevolent Rumble. I can get a green card for Endurance or just get my next land drop to hardcast a Leyline, which I think I like better. I think I'll just take a Forest here. I think I'm not firing off Cabal Therapy with my opponent having access to Brainstorm. Alright, they're just gonna Brainstorm. And now it's their turn. Dark Ritual, spell 1. Beseech the Mirror, spell 2. Enchantment? Song of Creation, spell 3. Get out of there. Ooh. Alright. I'm in. So at this stage, I probably just play a Clock. I will tap out for my Goyf. And then next turn, I can play my Leyline out. But my opponent can't assemble LED and Echo with 1 card. Alright. Fantastic. So Punchies in for 5. Gaining 5, totally relevant here. Mill 5 cards. Chaos Defiler? Chaos Defiler and Bowmasters feel approximately the same. I'm going to take Bowmasters. Gonna fetch, pick up red mana for the future. Throw down Leyline. Alright, we get that one. So if my opponent's play pattern is going to be play out the artifact mana, potentially even more so now to play around Mindbreak Trap, maybe the deeds come back in. Not sure how I feel about that. Like, if I soft lock my opponent out of the game, I can probably kill them with Veteran Explorers and Bowmasters and this stuff and not need top end that looks like this. So I could potentially do that. All right. Fighting for our 4-1 versus Storm. This is a great hand of Magic the Gathering cards in a matchup that is not a highly fast combo deck. This is a Leyline 1-lander. I don't love it. I basically have 7 cards that I care about in my opening hand, the 4 Leyline of the Voids and the Mindbreak Traps. On 6, maybe I just keep this and hope that the hand develops well. Leyline in play. Like, I'm perfectly happy if I draw another land and I get to Orcish Bowmasters. Okay, I did draw another land. That is fine. I'll go ahead and pass here. Opponent will probably surveil end of turn. They do. Saying no to a land. Alright, opponent plays another land and passes. So I am now to the point where Orcish Bowmasters is live, which is cool. Opponent fetches and surveils. It certainly is something to look at these current Storm mana bases. Trying to make Silence work alongside all the other cards you want to cast is kind of tough. Alright, now if I can continue to run hot and draw another land, I wouldn't say no. We're very good against the Echo side of the deck as of right now. Oof. In for 2 points. So, what did I board out? So, this would have been Chaos Defiler or Overlord, these cards. Or Overlord is definitely slightly better. I'm just chilling here. I think my opponent is favored to win as of right now. I don't think I have enough pressure without the help of Barrogoyf. Ooh, they silence me. Can't cast any spells this turn. Oh no. Did hit the land drop though, so that was in fact relevant. And I do have the Barrogoyf Leyline of the Void combo going strong here. Pass turn. Alright. It's happening. Brainstorm. You gotta do what you gotta do, folks. 3 of these to face. Opponent to 10. Lion's Eye Diamond. Times 2. Again, it can't be Echo, so we're looking for some sort of Burning Wish, crack a couple LED type situation. Okay, Burning Wish, crack 2 LEDs in response. 1 LED? Yeah, okay, 2 LEDs. So this feels like this gets a Beseech. Yep. So Beseech, Storm is 8. Empty the Warrens has been cast, folks. Empty the Warrens. The storm count is 9. 9 times 2 is 18. A singular point of life keeps me alive. So, I will sacrifice my 4/4 token. Green, red, Pernicious Deed. Activate 4/0. Destroy 18 goblin tokens. Opponent says, was afraid of that. GG's. And this is a Nic Fit 4-1. Not only that, this was a Nic Fit 4-1 that was like rather close to a 5-0. And we're playing Eye Twitch. GG. Let's go ahead and wrap this one up. Overall thoughts on the deck list. With no content creator hyperbole here, there is probably something incredibly solid here that needs 20 leagues of testing to be a respectable legacy deck. I feel like I bullied a lot of my opponents today. I had so many cards, just Witherbloom Charm, sacking the Eye Twitch and the Veteran Explorer for tons of value was awesome. Barrogoyf and Overlord giving me all of that value was great. This was quite good. Lazotep Quarry being activated to bring back like Barrogoyfs from the graveyard was fully relevant, and it bringing back like Chaos Defilers was definitely on the table as well in some of these longer games. This felt pretty real. My donation obviously required me to play around Eye Twitch, and maybe you don't need to go this deep, but Eye Twitch for Decorum Dissertation is like absolutely a thing that I don't really know how the flow state control players are going to beat. Like, I guess the answer is they need a Murktide Regent or something to just kill you if they are just trying to sit there and control while drawing cards. That's maybe not going to work out too well. Bowmasters is good against that, but like you have your own Bowmasters for Bowmasters. Witherbloom Charm being able to sacrifice a land to draw 2 was something that didn't come up too much in the league, but was definitely there. Witherbloom Charm being a removal spell for Tamiyo was 100% relevant. Yeah, this was impressive. Like, you can tune this more. You can maybe cut down on the number of basic lands that are in the deck. Play a few more fetch lands if you want. Play more Malevolent Rumbles. Consider cutting red if you are getting rid of Eye Twitch. Although, I don't know. Chaos Defiler was angry as fuck today and was very, very, very good versus the show and tell decks. But we did play against multiple of those, so take that with a grain of salt. Michael B, we did it. We made Eye Twitch good. We made a good Eye Twitch deck. We did it. And with that, my duty is done here. Thank you to everyone who supports this channel and makes it so that crazy leagues like this occasionally happen. I know sometimes we have some stinkers. I know sometimes some brews don't work, but this one, absolute Phil certified banger. Have a great rest of the day, folks. See ya.